it has created this like perfect storm, Elaine. You got a lot of like delays of material coming in, and in WA, because there's been quite a hard border policy. There's been a shortage in labor.
Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of AAFS Uncut, where we talk about finance and property related matters. Today we will be talking about the building industry and some of the issues that they are facing at the moment. We have Leonard here today who will be sharing some of his thoughts and with regards to this matter.
Hello, Elaine.
Hello.
How are you?
Very well, thank you. How are you, Leonard?
Yeah, good. Happy to be here. And
Yeah, it looks like today we are sort of like switching places.
I know, man. We're swapping roles. You're the host today.
Yeah. So Leonard, just wanted to like touch base with regards to this construction matters. Like,
Yep.
have you had any of your customers that had actually difficult situations or difficult
Yeah, definitely. So
construction?
we have been doing a lot of construction loans for a number of customers. So I definitely understand firsthand on how all of these increases in material costs and labors have been impacting my customers, and like builders going bankrupt as well. So I definitely know it firsthand, and we definitely have helped a couple of them as well to make sure that the build is completed properly.
Yep. Okay. So it's definitely driven. I mean, what I can see is it is mostly driven by the government grants that has been pumping up the demand for
Construction,
constructions or
correct,
new
yeah.
homes.
Absolutely.
And this has actually caused like a trickle down effect where there is a lot of disruption in supply chains and
Correct.
and delays.
Correct. And the pandemic as well, that definitely contribute to that, to the delays and stuff. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
how does these disruptions directly impacting the customer?
Yeah, so it has created this like perfect storm, Elaine. You got a lot of like delays of material coming in, and in WA, because there's been quite a hard border policy. There's been a shortage in labor, which then leads to an increase in the labor costs, right? And you can imagine like before, pre-pandemic, the cost for the builder to build, so for the for the bricklayer to lay a brick for them is like $1.10 per brick.
Yeah.
And now it's gone up to about $3, $3.30.
Yeah.
So that's over 300% increase in costs. And imagine if like somebody building like a double story who needs 15,000, 20,000 bricks, that's already a good $30,000-$40,000
Yeah.
in costs,
Yeah.
increase in costs. Yeah. So these cost increases has definitely been passed on to the customer from the builders, because obviously from the builder's perspective, yes, they will take some margin of it from the fixed building contract, but they can only absorb so much. So they will need to pass on these costs to the customer.
Yep.
And yeah, so these delays in the supply chain not only impacting the end customer as well, but it definitely has impacted the builder, right? Because in general, how the builders getting paid is they're getting paid when the job is getting completed, right? So normally, if only take about, let's say, 1 month, for each between job to be completed and getting paid. Now, it can take 3-4 months or maybe even more for each of the process of each of the job to be completed. And during those times, the builders have operating expenses that they have to pay. They have to pay for wages, they have to pay for rent or mortgage, electricity, utilities, and all those things, right? So that's why you see that a lot of these big builders that have big operating expenses
Yes.
goes bankrupt because they don't have the cash flow to maintain such a big expense. Yeah.
Yes, it is. It has been really shocking to see, builders going bust, and especially those big companies. We all of us were thinking like they are making
Good money. Yeah,
Yeah,
correct.
it is a good time for them.
Yeah,
It's
it's
like
really a surprise.
yeah, everyone is building.
Yeah.
I've heard some builders with their contract books fill up to 2 years, like
Yeah, correct.
in advance, and they can't take in any more customers. So everyone is thinking that the builders are doing very well, but unfortunately,
That's not the case. Yeah.
that's not the case. And
Correct, yeah.
when the news came up, I think in WA we have about 2 to 3 builders who went
Yeah,
bust.
big bills. Yeah, correct. Yeah, like for example, which affect my client is just Pindan. Pindan's like one of the biggest builders in here in WA, and
Yep.
they went down because of that. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm curious with the builders going down. So
Yep.
what's going to happen to their customer, especially when their construction is just probably just halfway done, maybe just a slab
Yeah.
or up to the roof or something like that. Because I've actually had one of Pindan projects sitting right in front of my neighborhood. And I've noticed that there wasn't anyone working on it, and
Correct.
the
Correct.
whole project was
Yeah.
sort of just abandoned for a good couple of months.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So, for those people who are being affected at the moment, there are some answers to that. So, in general, when the builders, before they start building, they do apply for insurance, and the purpose of the building insurance is to cover the client or the customer on the event where they went bust, right? So just make sure that you do have that in place. And one of the first thing that I would recommend you guys to do who are impacted is to give them a call and just let them know that what has happened. That tell them that, okay, so my builder has gone bust, and ask them for direction of what you can or can't do. So so contact your insurance. And so what happened to our client that was impacted was that so the insurance, which is QBE, they've asked my client to ask for quotes, right? Quotes from different builders, and ask them, okay, so roughly how much does it cost for them to continue building until the house is actually completed. So you will need to get another quote, another fixed building contract from different builders to complete the build, and then this is when the insurance will kick in. So the insurance will actually cover up to $100,000 of any additional costs that may rise from the new fixed building contract or from the new builder. So that, obviously that will save the client quite a bit of money.
But for the customer themselves, they still need to fork out some money.
Well, yeah, that's where the $100,000 will come in. So the $100,000 from the insurance that will cover any additional costs to cover that. And then if you have finance, so you just need to let the bank knows, and hopefully everything does still stack up. Because you do need to reapply for new finance again, and they need to reevaluate the property, and you just need to make sure that you still have the income to service the loan. So the issue can come in is when your circumstances has changed, prior to, compared to before when you applied for the initial finance.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, I see.
Yeah.
And so how long do you think this issue will continue to persist?
Yeah, so I've been doing some research on this. So looking at some of the news recently, so I think there are some signs of easing. So the Australia Industry Group shows a decrease in activities of construction for apartments, for new established house by about 5%, and apparently the delivery delays has also gone down again now by about 5%. So there are definitely signs of decreasing. So in general, I think we are still not really out of the woods yet, because we can see that there's still some of these big builders going bust, because obviously that will have some impact in general to the construction industry. But I think personally, it will be easing up the next 12 to 18 months. I think, yeah.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
So coming back to where you mentioned price increase, I've got a question where if let's just say a client it's halfway building their house, their new house, and the builder sort of come back to them with a new variation to say like, hey, the prices of the wages for brickies and the bricks have gone up, materials have gone up, and you gotta pay an additional of 30,000-40,000.
Yeah.
So in that case, can the customer, if they don't have additional cash savings at all to cover for this circumstance, can they get additional bank funding?
That depends on the actual valuation. But like what I said to you before, that insurance will actually cover up to $100,000 of
But
those
in
things.
this case, the builder hasn't gone bust. The builder is just
So if the builder hasn't gone bust, then unfortunately that is something that the client needs to physically came up with the cash. Yeah.
I would reckon it's not easy.
It's not definitely
It's not
if
easy for
correct.
most families to have
Absolutely.
$40,000-$50,000.
Especially for
cash.
people who already put in quite a minimum amount of deposit, like Keystart, you only need 2% of
correct.
deposit. Again, if another $30,000-$40,000 on top of the variation costs, then that would definitely impact those customers. It would be quite interesting to see what. So
because that is the one thing that I'm curious. Like, not everyone has that spare cash.
Correct. Yeah.
If they're already in taking a very like, for example, customers from Keystart with very low deposit.
Correct. Yeah. I think one of the things that they can do is obviously go and have a chat with the builder as well and see what some of the things that they can negotiate with them. Maybe they can, they can meet in the middle or something. I think that's one of the things that they can do.
Thank you, Leonard, for sharing your thoughts with us today.
No worries. Thank you so much for having me, and I'm happy to help.
Yeah, and thank you, viewers, for listening to our episode today, and hope to see you again next time. Bye.